There's a few ways to apply edge tape rather than an edge bander, which of course is what I use to put this on the edges of the cabinet. Let me go over a couple of ways that there are to achieve the same result. One is to use a peel and stick tape. So I'll demonstrate that. And you would basically take this back piece, peel that. It's super sticky, and you would carefully put it on there. You would use a stick of some sort. This is a phenolic backer stick. The thing about this material is that it's so sticky that the back edge, if you route it, it's going to get stuck on your piece, and that's just a mess to clean up. So my preferred method for doing this is to use a file, and I'll show you how I do that. All right, so the best way to do this is to make sure you have the non-serrated edge and the smooth side is on the bottom. And you take your file and you don't hold it flat like this, but at a slight angle. You first have to cut the end pieces. So I would cut those. Okay, so it's almost flush there. And it's so sticky it sticks to everything. And don't hold it, you want to hold it a little bit above flat. And you want to start out on the end. So you're going to cut it, starting, this is the hardest part. And you want to cut it like that, and you'll just continue on your way down. Okay? It cuts very easily like that. It's so sticky. Look at that. See? And that gives you the least amount of rollover of that sticky material onto your... It's there. See, it's all over right here. And that was the part that was, this is the part that was barely sticking up. It's better to have more material sticking up. But that, you can see that gummy stuff is really bad. And then you just go across and you kind of round it over like that. All right. And the best way to clean that material up with goof off, okay, this stuff. And with a glove, a little bit of that, you can clean up that residue. It cleans up pretty fast with that goof off. So you can see that. It's clean now. Now on this side, I'm going to demonstrate routing it to show you what happens. I have it set to be just a little bit, I don't know if you can see that, but it's just slightly exposed, the bit. Yeah, that's pretty bad. The material that's there. So let me reset the router and see what we can do. So I set it just a hair deeper, and we'll see what happens. Now that's too much. And you can see here that that's too much. Now it's cut into the wood. This is something I use on PVC, not so often on wood. It has to be super sharp in order to cut the wood without chipping it. But I'm going to try it on this particular piece to see what happens. Let's try it. You know what? I actually like the result of that. It's just left a tiny, tiny lip I can file. And so that's going to be my preferred method rather than routing. And the other way I showed you to file works as well, but I think this is actually a cleaner method. Yeah, I like that. Over here, obviously I over routed, and the first part was all gummy and left all this residue that I got to clean up. See all that right here, there's residue. Here I burned it, and here was with the Virutex, basically a trimmer. So to sum up on this stuff, the fast edge that's already on a maple or some other material. I wouldn't use this on a larger job at all, maybe just a couple of pieces where you don't want to, you're at a job site or you don't want to, you know, do a big process to get it on there. You don't want to spend a lot of time. This is actually very fast. It's definitely probably the most expensive way to go though. So I wanted to do another test with the peel and stick, with the fast edge that's already on a product like this wood veneer, but this time with a straight bit. I was thinking maybe this is actually the better way to go because the bevel bit, I think, contacts more of that sticky surface. And I did one small test and it seemed to work better with this. So I'm going to do another one on video here to see what happens. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do the whole peel and stick thing. We'll remove this. Press it on. Okay, good. We have our router bit just maybe about less than 1/8 of an inch out. And that is a brand new Bosch bit, so there's no chance of a dull bit causing a problem. So that did pretty good. There's just a little bit there. It's important that you go straight across without stopping, I think. So let me do the other side. But you can see there's a lot of glue getting on here. And that's the one thing you got to be careful of, is the bearing not clogging. So if you're willing to clean that up once in a while, I think the router bit works pretty good. So that's very clean. I think there's going to be minimal cleanup with that, for sure. So we'll take a file to that now. Flip it around over, both sides. Yeah, that's the way to do it. I don't even see any cleanup to do. I know this is not the same pre-finish as that other test, but this is solid wood. I mean, the reconstituted Rift White Oak. I'll put it there so you can see it. Okay, that test was conclusive that this router bit, although it does, you're going to have to clean it up once in a while. So you could either do it with the router or the file. Those would be my two choices for this material here. There is iron-on. So you would use an iron, and it's already pre-glued on the backside. This is not one because I don't have any, but you would take that material and you would basically put it on, iron it on, and then you would press it. You'd press it with some sort of stick or wood, press that on, and then you would file it off or route it off. Okay, there's that method. They make a material called speed tape. This is peel and stick, but first you put it on unglued material. So you would take any edge banding and you would put that on there. You would apply it, stick it on there, and then you would peel that off, and that would literally be your edge. So another way to apply edge tape, let's just imagine these are your cabinet sides. I just grabbed some small pieces for the demonstration, like that. And then you would take your pieces And you can they just need to be a little bit longer. This stuff just breaks off real easy. So you cut your pieces or break them, right? And since they're kind of like loose like that, it makes it hard to spray because of that. What I do is I take the spray and I actually just put a little bit down there, right? I let that dry a little bit. So now that that's tacky, you would just take your pieces and that would help hold them down. I probably only had to spray on the ends, but shake that and then you spray it. You would put a piece of scrap material here, something so you don't have to clean up too much. You let that dry. So you just wait a few minutes until it's tacky and not wet anymore to apply it. And then you simply place them on there, pressing each one like that. So you do the same thing to each of these. And then just carefully put those on there. If it's a long piece, you're going to maybe start from one end and just kind of go down and kind of hold that on each side. And that's it. And you either route or file depending on which method you prefer. I prefer the router for sure. Just make sure you have it set right. And let's actually run this one here. Overall, that's pretty good right there. And then just file each one of those. The only problem with contact cement is that it does leave residue, and I hate gloves. And then of course, you gotta clean it up, clean off that glue. That's it. There's another way to apply contact cement, and that is water-based, and you just brush it on. This is the brand I have locally here in California. It works really good, actually. The problem with brushing it on is that it takes longer, the brushing. And I don't think I need to show that, but you could do that water-based. Okay, so in summary, there's quite a few ways that you can apply edge tape to your cabinet edges. And in the past, before I had an edge bander, and it didn't matter what kind of tape I had, whether it was wood or pre-finished material. This is pre-finished wood. You can buy it pre-finished. You can have it in like a textured plastic. You can have just PVC. You can have thicker PVC. This is, I think, 3 mil. No, I don't think it's that thick, but it's thicker. It might be 2. The way I did it in the past is I did that method where I would lay down the pieces and spray them, but I actually had a wall set up where I had, I sprayed my contact cement, let it dry, and then I would stick my pieces up on this wall, spray them, and then lay my panels on top of each other and do the spray thing. And that is actually the least expensive way to go. And that is what I would do if I didn't have an edge bander, as the most common method probably. Using a spray glue. I used to have this really big container of it, like a special dedicated sprayer. Nowadays with the cans, I think that actually works better. So the stuff that is unglued is the least expensive. And like I said, just lay it out, spray it, and you'll be fine. In general, I wouldn't use iron-on because I don't trust it in high heat situations, like something next to a window. In the past, I've seen them delaminate, so I wouldn't use the iron-on at all myself. I mentioned it, maybe their adhesives are better these days. I haven't tested it recently, but I'm staying away from it. There is a portable edge bander, and maybe that's the road to go. I've never looked into it. It's the Festool portable, and I think it's about $3,000 to $4,000. So it ain't cheap unless you plan on really doing quite a few cabinets per year. and I mean frameless cabinets, not like face frame, then there's no point in it. Okay, so this is the last way you can put on edge tape, an edge bander. Buy yourself one of these and save yourself a lot of labor. All right, anyways, obviously this is for cabinet people. If you're a cabinet shop, a small shop, don't go cheap on it. Don't go too cheap. Make sure you get a quality edge bander if you're really gonna invest in one. You will mess around with a lower end one, and I'm not gonna name brands right now, maybe I should, but something like this is an SCM model, built like a tank. And if you really plan on doing it for a while, you want something that's gonna survive and is going to actually do the job without finagling with it very much. And don't just jump in and buy a cheap edge bander and think it's gonna work, that it's gonna last and not cause you any problems, because it will. Don't forget to like it if you appreciated this data, and hit the subscribe button if you would like more information on cabinet making type stuff. Thanks.